Clashers Electro Dragon attacks are not the same as Electro Dragon attacks. Some of them are just looking crazy. And exactly one of those players is going to showcase today how strong those blue dragons can be. Nikita is going to showcase what you can do with Electro Dragons when you're not just putting them in a line. And if you want to support this channel and like those guide videos right here, make sure to use code iTzu when buying any offers from the in-game shop. Really, truly appreciate that. And now let's jump into some amazing attacks to break down how Nikita is using those Electro Dragons correctly. And we're starting things off with the box base. That is one of the most popular base designs out there at the moment with this overall setup. With the Town Hall on one side, most of the time the Eagle kind of on the other. And we have, yes, that's right, the Flame Flinger to start things off. He's most of the time, so far, every single attack which we have seen, well, I have seen actually, with the Flame Flinger. It is kind of crazy. The next thing what he does right now is he's playing an Electro Dragon for one of the scatter shots. He sees that this scatter shot is really nice, accessible for those Electro Dragons. Just one freeze onto the scatter and onto the defending air hero right next to it, and he gets a ton of value with this one early rage. The same thing on the other side, so he has taken down at this point already one scatter and one queen, one royal champion. So already a lot of things down, and now the next step is going to be to go for the Town Hall. This is now the part which is kind of comparable to those other spammy Electro Dragon attacks, I guess, but still he is doing that to always kind of like push for a certain part of the base, because in his attacks he's not having the heroes to kind of like funnel the Electro Dragons. No, he's playing the Electro Dragons that he's funneling for his own Electro Dragons, and that is what is so incredible, because his entire objective with those Electro Dragons is to take down the single target damage. And that's exactly what he did, because at this point there is no Expos left, there is no monolith left, and there is no Town Hall left. So those heroes have not worried about too much except 3 air defenses, which is not as threatening at this point. The next thing as well, which is beautiful about this strategy, is that you do not really need those new pets. I know a lot of people out there are still like, well, free to play and want to have a really powerful strategy which does not need the new pets, the new lizard, the new phoenix, the new front, like all of those crazy new pets. Instead, we have a strategy which is running the old pet combinations. But if you want to replace one pet, that is for sure the Lassie on the Royal Champion to mix in Diggy if you want to do so. On this one, and that's something which he loves to do, is swagging those spells and heroes. He's swagging 2 freezes and he's swagging the Royal Champion overall, not even talking about the Swag King ability. So he really knows what he's doing with those strategies. It is really, really crazy, especially considering how hard Town Hall 15 is overall. Some people just do not get any 3 stars. Well, he's just swagging an entire hero. Next one. Next attack. This time around though, again, he is going to go for the Flame Flinger. That's such an... like, he's doing that so many times. It's really crazy. I think the only bases where he's not using that as often are ring bases, because that's where he has to blimp the Town Hall. But for this one, for those diamond-shaped bases, he's always going for something more strategic again. That's what this attack is all about. Not making sure that he's just like spamming everything in like the default Electro Dragon attacker. Instead, he's approaching everything really surgically. On this one now, he's trying to take down the Eagle early on. With this in mind, he can then really nicely play his remaining Electro Dragons to take down some point damage and the Town Hall again. Yes, he's going to go into 2 sweepers, but in the end, the main damage is taken care of. That's the important thing. Eagle is down. Now the Electro Dragons are going in. Flinger on one of the flanks to really make sure that those Electro Dragons have no other choice than going into their Town Hall compartment. But the funnel has not worked as beautifully as he was hoping for. But an incredible freeze, making sure those sweepers have no other way than just waiting for the freeze to expire, and then at this point the Town Hall should go down soon. At this point, what do we have left? We have 1 monolith left. We have 2 expos, but one of the expos is about to go down, so we have technically 1 expo. And that's pretty much it to somehow defend those heroes. The scatter shot, yes, that's right, but to be honest, the scatter shot is not the biggest threat to those heroes, and this is what this is all about. Take down this damage, which is a threat to the heroes. And because the heroes are so powerful, and the heroes are most of the time finishing the base off, that's why he's bringing the Electro Titan in this mix as well, to really make sure that if there's a back-end Lava Hound or something like that, those defensive Clan Castle troops are not dealing any damage to his heroes whatsoever. And that's the entire magic pretty much of this attack again. We have a ton of spells, one spell, but we have a ton of troops which he has not even deployed yet with this army. And this means it's another 3-star again. So by now you can see already, he's not the default Electro Dragon attacker. He knows what he is doing. And using this army perfectly with a really nice twist to it, with using those super minions and the Electro Titan to get even more value and making this attack a little less spammy and more strategic. The next attack, a box space. And this is the crazy thing about this, because this is no like default Electro Dragon spam type of attack. He is always looking at those bounces. And what do I mean by that? Well, he's always taking a look at those Electro Dragon chain value, which is, for example, on this base, not around the flanks, like in the first attack where we had the scatter shots which were kind of exposed. Instead, this time, he's seeing the value, he's seeing the entry option around the eagle. This means he's nicely funneling those 2 Electro Dragons into this eagle, getting that out of the way earlier. Take a look at the chain. Taking down the Clan Castle as well. That is incredible value early on. And this means so far there were only 5 archers, I believe, out of the Clan Castle, which means most likely there was a triple Ice Golem Clan Castle in there, which has never even came out of this Clan Castle. So that's kind of crazy. Meanwhile, the Flame Thing at the bottom side. Now the Electro Dragons. That's again then the spammy part, if you want to call it like that. But it's going to go for the Town Hall, which means Town Hall should go down. Really, really nice. And this means it's again on his heroes. At this point now, it's going to be quite important that you have this certain pet combination, because you are relying quite heavily actually on this Yak. Because you don't use any super war breakers. The problem is with having the Electro Titan, with having even the super minions, we'll talk about them in just a second, with even having the super minions in your army, this means you do not have that much troop capacity left. So adding super ball breakers and things like that is a bit tricky. So what he does now is he's even going to freeze the single Inferno Tower, because his pet is getting targeted by that Inferno Tower, because he needs it to survive. With the pet surviving, he can easily get through all of those compartments, all of those walls really quickly, and all of his heroes getting nice access towards those defenses really nicely. So for this one, we see now the Yetis, the Titan, the King, everything going inside, with the Yak and the King and the Queen, and the Royal Champ obviously leading the charge. Backhand freeze again, and that's then another thing which is really important. Do not overuse your phrases in the early stages of the attack. You have seen by now that he's most of the time using maybe 1, maybe 2 phrases in the early stages of the attack, but then having the main part of his phrases in the later stages during his hero part. So he's really adding 2 to 3, or 1 to 2 Electro Dragons early on, then having an Electro Dragon dive, and then cleaning things up with his heroes. That's always the approach which he's going for. Now let's talk about another part of this strategy, which we have not talked about that much yet, which are the super minions. The super minions are a great tool to snipe down defenses which have maybe survived during one of the stage 2 or stage 1 or stage 2 parts of the attack, which means either the Electro Dragon dive in the beginning or the main Electro Dragon dive on the Town Hall. One of those are typically having a couple of defenses staying alive, so you can snipe those really nicely with those super minions. That's the purpose of them. Let's take a look at this attack, what exactly he's doing. Starting things off with some nice chain to take down the air defense right away. Then those Electro Dragons are getting some more value. The value around the Eagle is not the greatest, because it's anti-Electro Dragons when it comes down to the chains on the Eagle itself. So he has to be careful now. He sees, okay, the value is getting tricky, so he has to now reinforce his Electro Dragons. Firstly, using the Bay Dragon to push them in, using another Electro Dragon now to get them somehow into that Eagle. One of them is luckily going off to the side, taking down the Eagle next. And now we can see one of the X-Bows is having really little hit points, while the Flame Flinger already doing his job, but this X-Bow is staying alive for a bit longer. But this means he knows that. That's the important thing. This strategy is not easy by any means. He's remembering that this one X-Bow is low, so he can snipe it now with the Super Minion, and that's the purpose. Exactly, that's the purpose of this Super Troop in this army composition. Now again, the pretty classic approach with the dive for the Town Hall, with those Electro Dragons again. Same procedure as most of the attacks. Again, you can as well switch the dive and the Electro Dragon part, the main part, depending on where the most damage is. On some bases, the Town Hall is not as protected as on those bases, for example, which means this Electro Dragon dive can be done for anything. It could be done for scatter shots, as in the first attack. It could be done for an Eagle artillery, like in this attack. It could be done as well for the Town Hall. You are really flexible with this, and you really need to identify the base and where you have the most chain value. Next thing, again, on this one, using the Super Minion to deal some more damage towards inner defenses, and taking out the Clan Caster as well to make sure that the defensive Clan Caster troops are not coming out of this. Next one at this point, he's now pushing in with all of his heroes, and that's now the part where a Diggy would be really helpful. He actually has this one unlocked on this account. It's not maxed, but it's still there. But now he's really easily pushing through the back end, royalty ability, and this means another 3-star. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have maybe now a different opinion about Electro Dragons, that yes, there is some people out there, or like the majority actually out there, who are just spamming them in. But then there is some people out there who are turning this strategy into a beautiful attack to watch. Let me know how you like this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys back tomorrow for the next one. Until then, see ya and bye bye.